Welcome to the chosen path. Picture this for a moment. Even the devil himself, with all the power and darkness he claims to hold, trembles when he sees a truly chosen soul. His grip may seem strong on the world, but when it comes to you, his hands shake. Take that in. Most people spend their lives afraid of unseen forces, terrified of shadows they don't even understand. But if you've truly been chosen, no demon, no dark power, no hidden enemy can lay a finger on you. This isn't superstition. It's not a pretty idea meant to make you feel better. It's reality. It's divine truth. You're not just living under some random fate. Your path is sealed, signed, and protected by a force greater than anything in this world. It's like walking with an unbreakable shield wrapped around your soul. Even the darkest spirits have to back off and whisper to themselves, "Not today." Ever wonder why, no matter how much chaos surrounds you, you keep rising? Why everything meant to destroy you ends up pushing you higher instead? That isn't luck. That isn't coincidence. That's God giving you a front row seat to watch your enemies crumble under the weight of their own schemes. That's the power of being chosen, standing tall while everything else falls apart, and doing it without fear. Here's the first truth you need to know. Your soul moves at a speed evil can't catch. Dark forces feed on low energy, fear, doubt, jealousy, anger. They're like scavengers circling around wounds. But a chosen one lives on a higher plane they can't even tune into. Think of it like a radio station. They're stuck on static, feeding off low vibrations. Meanwhile, you're broadcasting on a frequency they can't even pick up. They're out there fumbling for a signal that doesn't exist for them. Your spirit, your energy, your calling. These aren't just protection. They are elevation. They place you so far above the reach of darkness that its claws can't even scrape the edge of your light. They look at you and see a mystery they can't solve, a light they can't dim, a force they can't touch, and that scares them more than anything else. Demons thrive in shadows. They grow in ignorance, in fear, in shame. But your life, your presence, it's like a blazing spotlight. They don't just avoid you because you're hard to reach. They avoid you because you expose them. You reveal what they are. And nothing terrifies darkness more than being dragged into the light. Here's the second truth. God has made a covenant over your life that no enemy can break. Long before you were born, before any dark force even existed, your destiny was already written. And it wasn't written in pencil. It wasn't scribbled in ink that can be smudged or erased. It was carved into eternity with divine ink, unchangeable, unshakable, undeniable. No spirit, no enemy, no power can rewrite what God has already declared over you. They can try to delay, distract, confuse. But it's like fighting a war that's already lost. Every move you make as a chosen one is already aligned with a plan bigger than yourself. And the beauty of this contract isn't just that it keeps you safe, it's that it elevates you. It builds you. It uses even the attempts of your enemies as stepping stones for your rise. They thought they could stop you. They thought they could derail you. But your story was sealed long before they showed up. And that's why even when they strike, even when they throw their worst at you, all they do is help you climb higher. This isn't just protection, it's purpose. Every single attempt to harm you, to pull you down, to poison your name or your peace is already woven into a larger design that works in your favor. It's almost poetic. What was meant to break you ends up building you. The energy they spend trying to stop you is like fuel being poured into the very fire they're trying to put out. Instead of weakening you, it pushes you closer to where you're destined to be. This isn't luck. This isn't some random coincidence. This is divine order. This is God's sovereignty over your life, a kind of security that goes far beyond anything you can see with your eyes. Even the darkest forces can sense it, and it terrifies them. They know they're powerless against it. They know that a higher power has already decided the outcome of your story, and no amount of scheming can undo what's been written. Demons can't override a plan they never authored. Here's something else they don't want you to realize. Devils aren't just afraid of your protection. They're afraid you'll figure out exactly how they work. Darkness feeds on confusion. Evil thrives in secrecy, manipulation, and lies. These forces don't kick down the door like in movies. They slip in quietly, planting doubt, twisting truths, and watering negative thoughts until you start to believe them. That's their power, tricking you into handing over your own. But the moment you wake up to this, it's over for them. Awareness is the death of deception. Once you, as a chosen one, see the game for what it is, you stop being a player in it. You stop feeding their traps with your energy. And when you stop, their seeds of fear and doubt can't take root. They wither, they crumble. This isn't just about being protected. It's about carrying knowledge that acts like both a shield and a sword. When you think thoughts rooted in truth and light, every lie, every manipulation, every dark whisper loses its grip. That's why chosen ones feel like they have superpowers. Because in a way, they do. They're immune to the illusions. They can't be tricked into surrendering their power. And this is what terrifies the dark forces the most. They can't fight what they can't fool. They can't win against someone who sees through their every move. You're not untouchable simply because God protects you. You're untouchable because you know the truth, and the truth burns their lies to ash. Here's the deepest part of all this. The fight you think you're fighting. It was over before it ever began. From the very moment you were chosen, the outcome was sealed. Your victory was written long before the attack. Demons and dark forces can plan, scheme, dig pits, and set traps, but they're fighting a battle they've already lost. Picture them, gathering their weapons, sharpening their blades, plotting in secret, all while your destiny sits like an immovable mountain before them. They don't realize it yet, but every time they strike at you, they're striking at a plan that can't be broken. Nothing they do can rewrite the ending. Nothing they throw at you can cancel the promise over your life. So, when the enemy launches an attack, don't panic. Don't even be surprised. They're wasting their time. You've already won, and their attempts only make your victory louder, clearer, and more undeniable. They plot, they plan, they whisper, they scheme, but nothing sticks. Every time they think they've found a way to trip you up, it falls apart before it even begins. It's like watching someone throw punches at a shadow. They're exhausted, swinging at the air, but they never land a blow. Why? Because your life isn't just your own. It's tied to something far bigger, far higher, far stronger than anything they can reach. They don't even realize they've already lost until they move against you. Each attempt to strike becomes another lesson for them. Another reminder that their efforts are pointless. You're not standing there hoping for protection. You're already surrounded by it. It's as if God Himself built a barrier long before they even thought of interfering. Your destiny, your calling, your victory. They were all written long before the attack. The ink dried on your story before the first blow was ever thrown. This is why you feel untouchable. It's not arrogance. It's not luck. It's the reality of living under divine authority. They can throw everything they have at you, but it's like throwing stones into the ocean. They disappear without a ripple. They're fighting a war that was already lost. And that's why you keep rising no matter how hard they try to hold you down. And here's another truth. They don't like to face dark forces, cannot survive in the presence of real power. Demons thrive where there's chaos, fear, and confusion. That's their ecosystem. But when a chosen one walks in, someone carrying true, divine power, their entire environment collapses. It's like turning on a light in a room full of roaches. They scatter on their own. You don't even have to fight. They just can't stay where you are. People feel different when you show up, because you don't just carry safety, you radiate authority. Your presence alone makes dark forces tremble. They can sense it before you even speak. They avoid you not because they're polite, but because they're terrified. They know they can't win. It's like walking into a battle where the outcome is already written. They've lost before they even try. This isn't just about being shielded, it's about power. When you're chosen, you don't simply survive in the face of darkness. You weaken it. You strip it of its influence. You make its usual tricks useless. That's why people don't try to cross you directly. They can feel something on you, something not of this world, something they can't understand but know they must respect. It's not that they want to back off. It's that they have no choice. Real authority can't be faked, and it can't be challenged. When you carry it, their only option is to retreat. That's the difference between being protected and being empowered. Protection keeps you safe, but empowerment makes your very presence dangerous to what's dark. And this is why fear doesn't work on you anymore. Evil spirits thrive on fear. It's their favorite tool. If they can scare you, they can control you. Fear is how they plant their seeds. But when you step into your calling and recognize what you're really carrying, that tool stops working. Fear bounces off you like rain off a stone. You don't just resist it, you rise above it. Fear is their favorite weapon. It's quiet, it's invisible, and it seeps into your thoughts, making you hesitate, second guess, and shrink back. It's exactly the state dark forces want you in, because fear weakens your spirit before a single blow is thrown. But here's the truth that flips their plan upside down. When you're chosen, fear doesn't get the final say. It's not that you never feel afraid. Everyone, even the strongest, has moments where the shadows seem close. But the difference is this: fear doesn't get to live inside you. It may knock at your door, but you don't open it. It may whisper in your ear, but you don't let it take root. Chosen ones move with purpose, not panic. They walk with faith, not hesitation. They're guided by something so much bigger than the dangers they can see, that fear simply loses its grip. Demons feed off fear like fire feeds off oxygen. They swarm around places heavy with panic, doubt, and despair. But when a chosen one walks into the room, it's like the air changes. That supply gets cut off. Their power dries up. Suddenly, they're staring at someone they can't sway, someone who doesn't spiral when things get hard. And that's when their plan starts to fall apart. Being untouchable isn't about being fearless. It's about not acting from fear. When your choices come from faith, clarity, and purpose, evil forces can't get a foothold. They can't use their old tricks on you. They'll try to stir confusion, plant doubts, or tempt you to compromise. But when they see you're unmoved, they have no option but to retreat. They love people who are shaken, people who act out of desperation, people who cling to bad decisions because they're scared of change. That's easy for them to work with. But you're different. You stand steady. You walk like someone who knows where they're going. You don't take the bait. And that terrifies them more than anything, because you've stepped out of their pattern. They can't map you. Dark forces study habits, weaknesses, and reactions. They're like predators watching for the limp in the herd. But when you're chosen, you don't limp. You don't even move like they expect. You're on a completely different frequency, a higher level they can't see or touch. It's like they're trying to play chess with someone who's playing an entirely different game. They're used to predicting moves, pressing buttons, and pulling strings. But with you, none of their buttons work. Every time they reach for one, it's like it's been disconnected. They push and nothing happens. They plan and the plan collapses. And as this happens, something even more powerful takes place. Their confusion grows. They're used to feeding on fear and insecurity. But when you act out of clarity and trust, there's nothing for them to feed on. You're not only protected, you're unpredictable. Your thoughts, your actions, your decisions line up with a purpose they can't see, and that's a defense in itself. The more they try to figure you out, the weaker they become. They're left with nothing but frustration, while you continue to move forward, guided by something they'll never understand. This is why you're untouchable. This is why their tactics don't work. You're not just surviving their attacks, you're rising higher every time they try. They can't change what they can't predict. That's what frustrates them most. While they're still trying to read your moves and decode your next step, you're already miles ahead. Untouchable, unseen, unbothered. Every time they think they've figured you out, you've already shifted, leaving them clawing at empty air. And here's why your destiny isn't small. It isn't a single event or a passing season. Your fate is tied to something so much larger than you. A mission, a purpose, a calling. This is what makes the chosen ones different. You carry a stillness inside you that hell itself can't penetrate. This peace doesn't come from a soft life or from being shielded from challenges. In fact, you've probably faced storms that would have broken other people. But your calm isn't built on circumstances, it's rooted in a higher connection, a divine anchor that holds you steady no matter what swirls around you. Demons feed on chaos. They stir confusion, plant fear, and thrive on drama. But if you're grounded, their tricks burn out like matches in the rain. They try to light a fire in you, but it just won't catch. They throw everything they can to shake you, yet you keep walking, steady, unshaken, unafraid. Your calm drives them crazy because they can't find a single crack to slip through. They want you restless. They want you doubting yourself. They want you feeling cornered so fear can creep in. But the more you stay rooted, the weaker their grip becomes. This piece you carry isn't just a shield, it's a weapon. Every attempt they make to unbalance you only proves how strong it really is. They lose power every time you choose not to react. That unshakable calm isn't just your defense. It's your authority. It's the quiet fire that makes them retreat. And while you're walking in that peace, something else is happening behind the scenes. Your name, yes, your name, is being spoken in places you'll never see. It's whispered in rooms you'll never enter, both in the physical and the spiritual. People may not even realize it, but your name carries weight. It's more than a label, it's a mark of authority. In the unseen, even dark forces know it. They recognize the seal over your life, the warning sign they can't ignore. Picture it: a table in some dark, shadowy corner where evil plots are hatched. They're debating whether to come for you. They've seen what happens when they go after someone with your kind of covering. They know the cost. And as they talk, they realize something. Your name is on a list they don't dare touch. It's like a glowing sign over your head saying, "Touch at your own peril." You're not just protected, you're marked. And that mark is enough to make even the boldest darkness hesitate. What they're really afraid of isn't just you. It's the fallout of what happens if they try. This isn't superstition. It's authority. The authority you carry is real, and it's recognized on levels you can't even imagine. That's why you keep rising when everything else around you falls. That's why they can't reach you. You're walking in something far bigger than yourself, and every step you take announces it without a single word. They're not just dealing with another person. They're standing against someone who walks with divine backing. It's like trying to rob a bank protected by an invisible force field, only stronger. A power that doesn't sleep, doesn't blink, and doesn't miss a single move. These dark forces would be wiser to prey on the unaware or feed off the fears of people who haven't yet woken up. When they whisper your name in the dark, it's not to summon strength. It's to calm their own fear. Just thinking about touching you is like signing their own defeat. And the universe, that higher order they can't bend, rushes in to remind them this one is protected. Go somewhere else. Find easier prey. And then there's your light. Your light doesn't just glow softly, it explodes into darkness like a flare fired into a cave. Number 10 Fem, your light shows them exactly how dark they are. Think about cockroaches scattering when the kitchen light clicks on. That's what happens spiritually when a chosen one walks into a space. Darkness, confusion, manipulation. These things thrive in the hidden, in the corners, in the shadows. They're most powerful when no one is looking. But when you arrive, it's like a switch gets flipped. Suddenly the shadows aren't shadows anymore. They're tricks, they're setups, they're manipulations. All of it is exposed. What they hoped would stay hidden becomes obvious. Your light isn't some poetic metaphor, it's a force. You don't even have to try to shine it. Just by being your authentic self, just by standing in truth, you make lies impossible to hide. Their smoke and mirrors vanish. Their illusions crack. Their power drains away. And they hate it. Not just because they're seen, but because once they're seen, they're powerless. Imagine a magician trying to impress a crowd with sleight of hand, until someone like you walks up and shows everyone where the hidden card really is. The trick is ruined. The illusion ends. That's what your presence does. It makes the dark forces naked and small. They hiss and snarl to look fierce, but it's all show. Inside, they're trembling because your clarity is stripping away their camouflage. Your light isn't just personal victory, it's a warning signal that darkness can never outlast light. It's a living message to every hidden power that their time is over. Number 11. Darkness doesn't belong here, and your very presence makes that statement louder than words. When you show up, it's like thunder cracking across a silent night sky, a shockwave that rattles their foundations. Without speaking, you deliver a message. This ground is claimed, and darkness isn't welcome. Being who you are, walking in truth, peace, and divine authority, is itself an act of rebellion against everything they stand for. Your presence alone feeds what they cannot stand: love, clarity, purpose, hope. It's like oxygen in a sealed room. It burns out the suffocating fog they live in. They don't just fear your prayers or your actions. They fear your breath, your thoughts, your intent, because even those are aligned with something far stronger than they are. Every time you inhale, you pull in divine strength. Every time you exhale, you release hope and faith into the atmosphere. And every time you do, the things they've tried to build, despair, doubt, manipulation, lose their grip. You're not just staying positive, you're disrupting their food supply. They can't touch you because you're a living protest against their entire existence. You're the embodiment of a truth they don't want anyone to believe: that darkness can be broken, not by screaming or fighting, but by standing, unshaken, full of light. This is why, even before you speak, they're already retreating. You're a walking thunderclap. You're a walking warning. And the power you carry isn't just in what you do. It's in what you are. When your thoughts line up with God's plan, it's like setting off a spiritual explosion right in the middle of the networks darkness has been weaving for years. Whole webs of manipulation, fear, and confusion fall apart at once, like a house of cards in a storm. You don't even have to lift a finger. Your alignment with truth and light does all the work. Dark forces know this. They're smart enough to realize that to even try to defeat you would be to destroy themselves. You're not just another person moving through life, hoping for protection. You are the living opposite of darkness. You're a walking contradiction to everything they stand for. And just the thought of coming near you is enough to make them retreat. You don't need to yell. You don't need to fight. Simply standing in the room is enough to make their plans scatter like cockroaches under a floodlight. What terrifies them most isn't what you do. It's what you carry. You carry truth. You carry light. You carry something they can't imitate, can't twist, and can't defeat. Just by being yourself, you strip away their power and announce to every shadow, the divine truth in me is untouchable. Number 12. When someone is divinely assigned, they aren't walking alone. They are walking with supernatural help. This isn't poetic language. This is real. Your life is not just a journey, it's a mission. And missions like yours come with backing most people can't even imagine. Some people feel like they're fighting alone, but you're not. Around you stands a force of angelic guardians, not the soft images we're used to in paintings, but warriors. Cosmic soldiers trained to protect and clear the way. They're not just keeping an eye on you. They're actively moving ahead of you, sweeping obstacles out of your path before you even see them. Think about the power of knowing that every step you take is backed by real forces. Unseen but unshakable. These aren't ordinary protectors. These are divine guardians, fully armed and fully focused, assigned to you and your calling. They don't just block danger. They dismantle it. They don't just shield you. They build the path beneath your feet as you walk. It's like having the most elite team of spiritual bouncers at the door of your life. They keep the bad energy out and let only what's meant for you in. While others fight alone, you move through a world where unseen hands are constantly rearranging things for your good. Problems that should have stopped you become speed bumps. Attacks that should have harmed you turn into lessons. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone because your guardians are always at work. And the beauty of it is this: you don't even have to see them for them to be real. Even when it feels like you're standing alone, you're not. Forces above this world are making sure you stay in alignment with your true calling. Every setback is already accounted for. Every attempt to derail you is already neutralized. This is why you're not just surviving. You're thriving. It may not always feel easy, but you're walking a path that has been fortified and strengthened by God Himself. You are more than a traveler. You're a carrier of light, a vessel of purpose, an unstoppable force moving through a world that doesn't know how to contain you. When you start to grasp this truth, everything changes. The fear fades, the doubts shrink, and you begin to see your life for what it really is, a heavenly assignment wrapped in human form, with all of heaven backing your every step. The challenges you're facing right now aren't just random bumps in the road. They aren't proof that you're off track. They're invitations. Each problem is a stage for the divine to show off just how strong you really are especially when angelic forces are walking beside you. Your path isn't simply protected, it's intentionally covered with layers of unseen power responding to every step you take. Even the act of breathing becomes a declaration of strength. Every exhale is a quiet but unmistakable challenge to the darkness trying to block your destiny. People like you are living evidence that we are never really alone. When your calling is this big, the universe conspires to keep you moving. Roads open, doors unlock, and things line up in ways you couldn't have planned. The dark will whisper doubts and fears to try to slow you down, but your light speaks louder. It drowns out the whispers before they can take root. Never forget this. You're not just another person trying to make it in a chaotic world. You're a living warning to everything that's dark, manipulative, and destructive. You're a signpost of hope and strength in a time when most people feel lost. Even your presence is a question evil can't answer. You remind the world, and the unseen forces behind it, that there's a limit to what darkness can do, and that there are no limits to what happens when someone lives in alignment with divine will. As you keep moving forward, hold this truth in your heart. You're not just meant to survive. You're meant to rise. You're meant to be strengthened by God's love and power until you're unstoppable. Every step you take echoes in unseen realms, a signal to the forces of darkness that they can't touch the light you carry. You've been chosen. The world needs your brightness. Heaven itself waits for your shine. So enjoy your journey. Walk with your head high, knowing you're spiritually fortified and untouchable as you pursue your purpose. And if this message has stirred something inside you, don't just let it pass. Act on it. Join us. Click the subscribe button and become part of a growing community of people like you, chosen, resilient, and on fire for their purpose. Together, we go deep into the mysteries that strengthen us, exploring truths that change the way we see life. When you join, you're not just following a channel. You're stepping into a space that feeds your growth and accelerates your journey. If this message spoke to you, give it a thumbs up so we know it resonated. Share it with someone who needs encouragement. Your light might be the spark they've been waiting for. And don't just watch, participate. Drop your thoughts, stories, and biggest takeaways in the comments below. Tell us where you are on your journey, and let this become a place where stories of victory and transformation gather strength. This isn't just content. It's a movement. Together, we're building a space where light multiplies, where hope becomes contagious, and where no one walks alone. You're not just a viewer here. You're part of this divine mission. Keep moving forward. Keep shining, and get ready. What's coming next will take you even deeper into your calling. So remember this: your problems aren't punishments. They're proof that you're chosen. Every attack, every whisper of fear, every shadow trying to creep into your path is already defeated before it begins. You walk with a covering that darkness can't reach and a light that hell can't extinguish. But here's the thing. This is only the beginning. You know now why you're untouchable, but in the next video, I'm going to show you something even more important. What chosen ones must do to keep growing in their calling. Because if the devil can't stop you from rising, his next move is to try to distract you, to drain your focus, to keep you busy with things that don't matter. And if you don't recognize those traps, you can waste years standing still. So don't miss what's coming next. Make sure you hit subscribe, because the next message will expose the hidden distractions sent to keep you from your purpose. And I'll show you how to break free from them. Once and for all, your light is needed. Your voice is needed. And your next step is too important to miss.